So this past week I opened up about my eating disorder and I came out about it on this channel. I didn't think I was ready for it. I still don't know if I'm ready for it, but I kind of want to stay on this track where I'm bringing awareness to mental health, anxiety, and depression. I feel like it's not talked about, I feel like there's bad stigmas, and I feel like I have some kind of responsibility to keep this talk going now that we started it on my channel. I want to continue this path of storytelling, keeping it real and raw, and bringing awareness. With that being said, I decided to make a series on this channel called The Truth About, where I talk to other YouTubers candidly on camera, super real and raw, about what they're struggling with off camera. I feel like YouTubers have a stigma that their lives are perfect, and we're all humans just like you guys. The point of the series is to completely bring down that wall and bring creators closer to their subscribers while spreading awareness and keeping the conversation going that should be going. I personally reached out to these influencers myself, and we're going to be talking about things they struggle with currently off camera. So let's bring the wall down, let's bring awareness, and let's keep the conversation going. Let's go. Good morning, guys. So welcome to another episode of The Truth About. I got my strawberry acai. Today we are doing a really unexpected Truth About. Today we are going to CloeCouture's apartment. If you guys don't know Chloe, she's been on YouTube for quite some time now. Her favorite color is purple. She wears a ton of tiaras, and she's always so excited and hyper and fun, and she's always doing crazy videos. She does this series where she moves a lot. She's done challenges underwater. She also does makeup challenges on roller coasters. She's fun. I actually personally know her, so I know that what she puts on YouTube isn't all who she is, which is why I'm really excited about this episode. You would never know the things she's gone through or what she's going through with how happy she seems on YouTube. So about 2 years ago, Chloe lost her mom to cancer, and looking at her channel, it never stops. She's always just going and happy and happy and happy. And she never really talked about it except in one video. It caught me off guard because it wasn't her normal type of upload, and then she just started going back to her original type of content as if nothing was wrong, which we all know losing a parent or losing anyone close to you isn't an easy thing to go through. We talk about a lot of things on this series that's hard to talk about, like sexuality, appearance, weight loss, and now we're gonna talk about death. Luckily, I don't know what it's like to go through anything like that. I know a ton of you have never gone through anything like that also, or you have, and I feel like it's something that needs to be talked about because it happens. It'd be really good for all of us to see her mindset, her outlook on life now, how it's changed and shaped her, and the importance of life. So yeah, I'm excited about this one. I think all of us can take a step back and look at real problems going on around us. Time is something you can never get back, and it's all about how you use your time and appreciating the people you're with. And I think it's so easy for us to get wrapped up in the little things that don't really matter. I think I need this, and I think you guys, some of you may need this, and I think this is gonna be good for her. So let's go to Chloe's and let's talk to her and see how she's doing.
Hello.
Love the fit and
shoes.
the crown.
Thanks.
Look at this. I love this.
This is my room. It's also messy because we just moved in, so we're still like, I need to get a dresser, but.
Oh my god, though. It's such good vibes.
It's very, I feel like it's exactly like my old room. It's just like purple and yeah.
Like your room in Florida or your room?
Everywhere. Like I've always had a purple room. I've never not had a purple room.
That's like, oh, I miss my blue room at home.
I wake up to that view. Just so grateful every day seeing that. It's crazy.
So, you've been making content that is like super crazy in a good way and like happy. Like every time I watch your channel, it's like you said, like a fantasy. Mm-hmm. Like you like to make things that don't seem real but real.
Yeah.
And honestly, like when I watch your videos, I would never know anything that you've gone through, and I only know things you've gone through because you've mentioned it like off camera, like when we've been on like trips or like beauty cons or like every time we've hung out. like I actually know you, but I also watch your videos, so I know that there's deeper things that have happened that make you who you are that you haven't touched on that much.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember all of a sudden, was it 2 years ago?
Yeah, I think that might have been a year ago, and I actually asked you about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You've made, I think, a few. There was one about your mom, and then there was one about you being alone and feeling lonely in LA.
It was about how it had been a year since my mom had passed away, and I felt this pressure to like be okay and have everyone think that like I was fine. But with grieving, it's so weird. Like there's no rule book, there's no guide for grieving. And I felt like when my mom first passed away, I honestly didn't process it the way I should have, which is fine. Like there's no like way you should process things, but I just like dove right into work and I didn't let myself grieve. And then a year later, it like all hit me like a ton of bricks. And I felt like I didn't know how to talk about it on my channel because everyone's gonna look at me and be like, it's been a year, like it's time to like start picking stuff up again. Sometimes I'm able to talk about it like it's just another thing to talk about, and sometimes I like get in these little slumps where I'm like, oh my god, this happened to me. It was the anniversary of my mom's death and it just like hit me harder than when it actually happened. And so I wanted to talk about it on my channel, and I asked you because I saw what you made with your breakup and like how you were able to just talk so openly about it and make it artistic. And I felt like I wanted to express how I was feeling, but the way I express things is in an artistic way and in like a film way. So that's what I did, and I felt like once I opened up, I got so much like backlash about it, and that was the hardest thing because it's not like someone's commenting about the way I look or someone's commenting about the fact that they don't like my video. This is like the thing that I hold the most sacred in my heart and the thing that's like caused me the most pain. So for someone to talk about it in that light was just heartbreaking, and I think that's why I don't talk about things as much anymore. And like I just can't have people say stuff like that about like the hardest thing in my life, you know?
Because you know what that means? Like they just have never gone through it and they absolutely don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
I think everybody's fear is what you've gone through, and like to hear someone that's gone through it have learned so much and grown so much.
Mm-hmm. I feel like I'm so scarred from that one time that I opened up about it. Like feeling that backlash from people was like so scarring.
So you got more hate than good?
Yeah, I mean, I had so many comments of people saying that like I was using my mom's death for like publicizing it, and that I was like fake. People said that I was faking crying and that I wasn't actually upset because I went out and I filmed these scenes where I was like I was sitting on a mountain and like crying, but like little do people know Rachel was filming that. Like RCL Beauty 101 I asked her to film that for me because I was like, I'm feeling all these things and I want to film this, but I can't have like just a camera person film this. I need you to film this. So she came out with me. We like drove to this mountain and I just like sat there and was like talking about things that I was feeling, and I started crying, and then we started recording it. And so I think people think like I went out into nature with a crew and just like faked crying. Like I was like feeling all those things, and like to make that so public and then to have people tell me that I was faking this and that I was using this, like these are my real like tender like intense emotions. But I think, you know, you're gonna get that anytime that you put yourself out there in that way.
I was looking forward to this because, you know, I've been stressed about like little stupid things that in the big picture don't matter. And I know that like for someone like you who's gone through like the worst thing you could ever go through and come out the way you did, I feel like I could learn a lot and people watching can learn a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like the importance of life and how like you can't get time back and you can't get people back.
I mean, going through not only death but like seeing someone you love so much like basically deteriorate is just insane. And I think that's what people don't think about when I talk about the fact that my mom was ill, is like all the stuff that my family and I went through those like last few months was just like unbearable, like literally unbearable. And I think people don't think about that. Like they think about after she passed away and like what's your life like now, but those few months are just like something that I will never be able to get out of my memory, and something that like us as a family went through, and we'll never be able to get rid of that. Like, that was just like a part of our life that was so awful and so just like so terrifying. I feel like I don't talk about that much because I don't like to.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that. Like,
like you think about like
when it happened.
What would life be like if you didn't have that person, which is like another huge thing, and it's so awful all the time, but like actually going through someone like dying is really, really tough. It's like obviously the hardest thing I've ever been through. I mean, my mom was sick for 17 years, and she passed away when I was 18, so basically my entire life, and I was unaware of it. Like, I knew there were certain times when she was sick, but I think as a kid I didn't really understand it, and also she always wanted to hide it from us, so it was so crazy. Like, these are stories that I've heard now that she's passed away, like her friends would share with me, where she would go to chemo, she would spend the entire day at the hospital, like getting all these drugs, doing all these different scans and, you know, even surgeries, and then we would come home and just tell her about our struggles and stuff that was happening in school, and she would not even talk about anything she went through, ever, because she didn't want it to affect our lives. So for me, that's just like, now learning all this after she's passed away, I've had such like a greater appreciation for my mom's courage and the way that she acted, and the way, like, sometimes I wish she shared things with us more, because I wish I could have helped her through those times, but what she wanted was for us to live a normal life, and she didn't want it to affect us at all.
Did she have like cancer for 17 years?
Mm-hmm. She had it on and off for 17 years. She actually had it, the first time she had it, she was pregnant with my sister, my younger sister, and she could have gotten like the surgeries she needed and the chemo, but it would have killed my sister. So she didn't, and I think that's why it got to, like, it escalated to the point it did. So that was the first time, and then it came back in her leg, and it came back multiple times, like, throughout the years, and then lastly it came back, like, in her brain, and her liver, which was, like, definitely the toughest, like, few months to see a person go through those changes, you know?
Do you feel like you lost her before you actually lost her?
Yeah, and it was really, really hard to, like, especially because that was my first year of college.
That was the year you moved out here and your mom passed away.
Mm-hmm. So I was in college trying to, like, you know, do my freshman year and, like, do college, and I don't think, you know, like I told you, she didn't share with us what was going on. So she came out here to visit, and, like, she was in a wheelchair, and I just had no idea the severity of it, because I would FaceTime her and everything would seem fine. And like, there was this one day when I was on my college campus, and I just burst out into tears, and I was like, I have to go home, like, I need to go home. So I went home for, like, I think the second quarter of college, and, like, spent that with her. But it was like some of the hardest times, because it wasn't her anymore. It was like someone else, you know.
Wow. So, like, I even know what it's like to move out here. Your time's moving by and you're just out here without your family.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, you don't know how long people are going to be around. I can't imagine going through that knowing someone's sick back at home.
Yeah. It was so much guilt all the time.
Yeah.
I felt like, and the thing is, like, I know that she didn't want me to feel that way. Like, she wanted me to not think about that and just, like, enjoy my life, because that's what she always wanted. But, like, knowing the things, and my younger sister was back home with her, taking care of her all the time, and, like, my older sister and I were just at college. It was just, like, a very tough thing to deal with.
How long would you say you, like, grieved? Do you think it started before and after she passed?
I mean, I think before, not much, because, like, it took a while to come to terms with everything. But, you know, like, I think there was a moment where I realized things were happening before my dad did, or before my older sister did, and I had to basically be the person to, like, break that to my dad and, like, tell him what was going on, and that, like, this is actually happening. So I think during the process before it happened, I kind of became, like, a shield. Like, I did not let myself feel anything, because, like, we had so much going on, and I felt like I needed to, like, protect my family and, like, not, I just, like, couldn't process things. And then I think it did take until a year after to like really hit me. Like I was so upset obviously right after, but like so much is happening and you don't even know how to deal with death. Like you don't know what to do. You're just like, do I go do things? Do I not? Like my sisters and I would just sit around the house and like people would bring us food and we just like, sometimes you felt happy and then you feel guilty for being happy, or like sometimes you'd feel okay for a few hours and then all of a sudden it hit you again. It's like just this overwhelming roller coaster over and over.
So what was it like after her passing, you moving back out here and being alone and knowing she wasn't at home anymore?
That was definitely the hardest time in my life, was moving back out here, because I had just moved in with another YouTuber. We moved in together, we were super excited about living together, and then after like a month or two she decided she didn't want to live in LA, so she moved back home, which is fine. Like I don't think she knew what I was going through, or the severity of like how much she left impacted me. Like I never wanted to live alone. I'm a social person, I don't like being alone. And living alone in that apartment in LA with no family, and at that time like I also worked completely by myself. Like I didn't have a film person, I didn't have an editor, so I was just like really on my own, was so hard. And I think for the first few months like I would stay busy all the time to keep my mind off of things, but being alone, it's like you are just so in your head and you're just like, you can't escape it, you know?
Wow, I didn't realize all this. Like things are making sense.
Yeah, I've never even opened up this much. Like I'm surprised I'm doing this right now.
Like I kind of really respect you even more, because it makes me feel like I shouldn't. I just moved to LA. I'm without Gabby, like I'm across the country, and I've been to Nate every day about, is this the right decision? I feel like I just need to move home, I'm wasting time. Victimizing myself, when like you did this, you got through it, your mom passed away and you were living alone. Like that's strength. And I don't think you get credit. Like I think people obviously love your videos and you make the most fun content. I enjoy watching your videos, but I feel like these young viewers you have don't realize how freaking strong you are. Like even though you wear a princess tiara, like you're freaking strong.
Thank you.
That takes a lot.
Yeah, it was really hard, but I think like those hardships are what makes us stronger, and I've gained such an appreciation for life and for people in my life, and just I feel like I don't take any day for granted. And I said to myself one time, I was like, I have no reason to not be happy. Like I should always be happy. I have a place to live. I have people around me that I love. Like why would I not be happy right now? So I've kind of used that to like live my days. Like I'm always just, I try to be as happy as I can, because I feel like I don't have a reason to not. Like I'm not sick. I have a roof over my head, you know.
That like I think a lot of people need to hear that. And you know, we're all gonna go through it, and you've handled it like a freaking boss. I don't know if how, or if, you know what I mean, how I could handle something like that.
Definitely puts everything into perspective. Like after that happened, when like my friends would talk about like little drama or like stuff that they had going on that would upset them, I was just like, I couldn't imagine a scenario where that would upset me anymore, because it's like...
Before going through this, do you think you were almost like a different person?
Yeah, definitely. I've changed so much. Like I think I had just like, I also had never been through anything damaging in my life. Like I had a very good life, and I feel like I would complain about a lot of things and I didn't realize like what life was, you know. And I also have lost a lot of people within a short amount of time. Like since that happened, I've lost a lot of relatives, and like it's easy to get really angry about it and get like angry at the world, but I've learned that like I just need to really appreciate how much time I have with each person that's left, you know, because like it is the circle of life and it is something that happens, so you just have to appreciate the time you have with the people you love.
Like I honestly am kind of speechless.
It's crazy. I mean, it's definitely opened my eyes, but I don't think you have to go through a loss to like see that, you know.
Like that's what I'm hoping. What was your mindset before, and what's your mindset now?
Well, now I'm just a lot more grateful for like the little things that I didn't think about. And like in my office, we try to do something where every morning we say 4 things we're grateful for that day. So like, and it's crazy how much you'll realize how grateful you are for the simple things. Like I'm grateful that it's sunny today. I'm grateful that I can move. Like I went on a run this morning. I'm grateful that I have legs and I can move, you know, just simple things like that. And to like say those things in the morning and start off your day with stuff like that makes it a lot easier to not get upset about the little things, because you like have that initial thought of like, I'm grateful that I'm just here. Like, it's insane that we're here. The chances of us like not being born are huge. You know, there's so many crazy things that have aligned for us to be here and to be like sitting here today. So that's just like a first thing to wake up and be grateful that you're here and you're alive.
Dude, that's so true. Because like, what are the odds like our parents met? What are the odds it created us?
Yeah, I mean, even like the fight to like become the egg and the sperm to like combine like there's like, I think it's like 1 billion to 1 or some insane chance that like you are here. That's like the first thing that you gotta think about when you wake up, is to be like blessed.
Is it weird to not like hear her voice anymore, or to talk to her, or like, is it weird to just realize like, wait, this person that gave me so much comfort that I needed all the time growing up like isn't here? How do you even process that?
It gets less weird as the time goes on, like you come more and more to terms with it, but like there are moments where it'll hit me all over again. Like, I went to see Mamma Mia the other day, and there was this scene at the end where she like had a baby, and she was, you know, at the celebration of the baby's life, and like her mom had like come back and was watching it. And those moments are the toughest for me, where I realize like the biggest moments in my life that I still haven't done, my mom won't be there for, like when I get married, or when I have a baby, or when like just all those huge life moments. And I think like also the biggest thing that haunts me is the fact that like she only knew who I was as like a teen, as like a kid. Like, I didn't get to show her like my full adult self. And like with my dad, now we're friends and we're at a level where like I don't even feel like it's like a child and like parent level anymore. We're like actually friends, and I'm able to give him advice, and I'm able to like teach him things. And it just like will always upset me that I will never get to that level with my mom. Like, I'll never be able to be like adult to adult, person to person, like that connection, you know? But I do still talk to her, and like they say that a connection with someone who's passed away is like the same as forming a connection with someone who's here. Like, you have to work on it, you have to talk to them. And like sometimes I'll just be driving home from work and I'll tell my mom like what happened that day. Mainly I'll talk to her when I'm upset about something, or when there's something in my life where I don't know what to do. I'll just like sit down and just talk to her like she's here. And obviously like I don't hear a response, but just knowing that she could be there and is listening is very comforting. I feel like I've accepted in my head that like she's not fully gone, she's still like here.
That's good that you're spiritual, because that's kind of all we have.
Yeah.
It's like, what else do you have to hold on to if you don't have faith?
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people are going to comment, and you know, everybody has their own beliefs, but
I think like
you have
people,
to go through this.
You have to deal with it in a certain way. Like before this happened to me, I would so easily be like, no, when you're gone, like that's it. Once something like this happens to you, like you have to like cope with it in a way. And like I do still believe my mom's here around. Like
you feel it?
Yeah, I feel it. Sometimes I feel it so strongly. And I actually went to see a medium, who's someone who like speaks with people who have passed away, who knew my mom. She knew my mom. So we talked, and I was just like sometimes I'll be driving home, or I'll just be like in a random moment, and I'll just start like I'll feel this rush of emotion and just start crying for no reason. And she was like, in those moments, that's your mom's way of saying like, hi, I'm here, talk to me. Like, cause like sometimes it'll just like hit me out of nowhere and I'll just start crying. So now I like use those moments to like speak to my mom. That's like been very comforting for me, knowing that she's still here.
You know, it was like really unfortunate to go through, like no one that age should ever have to go through that. But I'm sitting here and you're teaching me a lot, and this video is going to teach a lot of people things, and I think this is like a part of your journey. I feel like God doesn't put you through anything you can't handle, and I think He knows the fullest we can become as people, and I think like this truly has helped you become who you are. I think your mom has helped you become this person.
Yeah, I think that way sometimes too. And sometimes I'm like, I need to talk about this because I need to like give this a purpose, you know? Like, I want her to live on, and I want to like bring good out of this situation. So maybe this will inspire me to open up more on my channel, because I feel like I have a lot more to show.
There's so much to you. Like, I'm just really happy you agreed to do this, because I know this isn't easy to talk about. It's hard to realize, like, I know we've all had that thought one day. It's like, it's scary. It's inevitable. Do what your gut and your heart wants to do, because people aren't gonna always love everything. And people that are ignorant and haven't gone through anything are gonna think they know what they're talking about when they obviously don't. So just moving forward, like, don't ever let that discourage you, because like, this is powerful. Your message is powerful. There's much more to you than you put out there. Thank you so much for letting me do this.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
It's not easy.
I'm excited for the future and to see what else people open up about. Hi.
Hello. All right.
So who's next?
Who's next?
Comment below.
Comment below. And we'll see you guys in our next video.
Bye.
Bye.